What I have here are two new phones from the Redmi Note 13 series of smartphones, the lowest end in the family, the Redmi Note 13 4G, and also the highest end variant, the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. Yes, the name of this phone is just super long. Now, I know many of our viewers are just shopping in accordance to the budget available. And the Redmi Note 13 series covers a rather wide range of budget while offering a lot of differences within that same range. And we're gonna show you the massive differences between the Redmi Note 13 series of smartphones. The first obvious difference here is obviously gonna be the performance. If we are gonna pay more, then we are obviously just gonna get better performance. The Dimensity 7200 Ultra in the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G is actually quite good. We're getting somewhere around 30 FPS in Genshin Impact with medium graphical preset, and we can lower the graphical settings a bit more to get better frame rates. Considering how difficult it is to run this game smoothly even on high-end smartphones, this is considered good. However, the thermal headroom available on the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G is really low, and that's why we are thermal throttling halfway throughout our gaming test. As for the Redmi Note 13 4G, the chipset remains the same as last year's Redmi Note 12 4G. They are both using the same Snapdragon 685 chipset. I mean, it's an entry-level chipset, and we've tried Genshin Impact and it works, but you will have to manage your expectations and also raise your tolerance level because you won't be getting 30 FPS consistently. It's mostly hovering around 20-ish, and it could be feeling a bit sluggish. Next up is the screen, and this is going to be a simple one. Let's talk about the Redmi Note 13 4G first. It's using a 6.67-inch OLED screen that has 2400 by 1080 pixels in resolution and 120Hz refresh rate. Pretty much the same one as last year. The color accuracy here is surprisingly good, and we're getting virtually 100% for both DCI-P3 and sRGB color gamuts, while also having a maximum brightness of around 950 nits. Honestly speaking, this is a very good screen for a phone of this price range. For the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, it has a lot of upgrades compared to its last generation. It's using a 6.67-inch OLED screen with 2712 by 1220 pixels, and that is slightly higher than the usual 1080p, and it also has 120Hz refresh rate and also curved sides. The color accuracy though is not as good, as it only covers 100% of sRGB and 90.75% of DCI-P3 color gamuts, while the maximum brightness is somewhere around 1050 nits. Overall, it's a very nice screen. It's just that I'm personally not a fan of curved screens because it is just impossible to use tempered glass screen protectors. We can only use either film or hydrogel screen protectors, which they don't last long, and we need to constantly swap them out as we use the phone. Now, as for software, these phones are using the same MIUI 14.0.2 on top of Android 13. Yes, that is correct. These two phones are not running Android 14 yet. The software won't be our focus here today because it's technically identical to whatever we had previously, so check out those videos instead at the top right corner there or down in the description below. Alright, it's time for the cameras then. Getting a more expensive phone means better cameras. I think that's just pretty obvious, even though the ultra-wide-angle camera and the macro cameras on these two phones are identical. But the chipset is different, and that means the ISP, image signal processor, is different as well, and that will create different pictures even though they are taken within the same scene. So the differences are mainly in terms of clarity and also the dynamic range. So focusing on the main camera first, the difference is mainly in the clarity, colors, and dynamic range. Outdoor shots don't reveal much of a difference, but the indoor shots start to show the differences. However, the biggest difference is when we start taking pictures at night. The ultra-wide-angle camera also takes different pictures. The Redmi Note 13 4G will look a bit more fuzzy and overall just not as good, whereby the Pro Plus 5G will take much better looking pictures. The macro camera is something that I personally don't want to talk about because it's a 2 megapixel fixed focus camera, and that just sucks. I do wish for a 5 megapixel autofocusing macro camera at least. That would be much more usable than what we have here. Alright, what about the battery life then? both of these phones use a 5000 mAh battery, but they're gonna have different battery life because of two things. Number one, the chipset is different between these two phones, and secondly, the screen resolution is also different. So with our standardized battery life tests, it is no surprise that the Pro Plus 5G does not last as long. In fact, I was expecting more battery life, but it is what it is. The Redmi Note 13 4G can last throughout a day's use without much of an issue, whereby we'll have to be a bit more thrifty with the Pro Plus 5G. Now, the charging speed is where things get a little bit more interesting. So both of these phones will come with different chargers and have different maximum charging speeds. Let's talk about the Redmi Note 13 4G first. It comes with a 33-watt charger in the box and it can charge from 15% to completion in about an hour. As for the Pro Plus 5G, it comes with a 120-watt charger inside the box and it can charge from 15% to completion in about 40 minutes. However, it doesn't actually take in 120 watts by default. We'll have to go into the settings menu and do that manually. And that is because such high wattages in the long run is not good for your device. Xiaomi knows this, and that's why we have this notice here in the settings menu. And when we redid our charging test with this boost charging speed option enabled, it will take only around 20 minutes to charge it to completion, but the temperature is very high and it mostly will be around 45 degrees Celsius. Just remember that Xiaomi is using their own proprietary charging standard, so if you want to fast charge the Redmi Note 13 series or any Xiaomi phones for that matter, you will have to use their own charger and cable. You cannot swap it out for any other third-party manufacturer chargers or cables. It just won't work. And to add a few more things here, both of these phones are using a USB 2.0 port at the bottom and an IR blaster is found at the top of the phone, which is a staple for the Redmi Note 13 series at this point. However, the Redmi Note 13 4G has a microSD card slot, but the Pro Plus 5G does not. Same goes to the audio jack. But one impressive thing is that the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G has IP68 rating. Now that's a good thing to have. So at the end of the day, which one should you buy? Well, that depends on you. Obviously, getting the more expensive one is gonna be better, but not everyone can afford it or even need it. So at the end of the day, it boils down to your own personal needs. I'll leave all the links down below for you to check it out. Maybe you can score a discount too. If you have any other questions, then just leave them down in the comment section below, and also remember to like and subscribe while you're on your way there, because that does help us out a lot. And we'll see you guys in the next video.